Good morning, Rabotai. Yesterday we started speaking about the halachot of chazara, which means if you take a pot of food off of the fire on Shabbat, what are the conditions necessary to put it back afterwards if you like? So first and foremost, before even the Tanaim, we started by saying yesterday that the food has to be fully cooked. If the food is not fully cooked, then there's nothing to talk about. When you put it back on, you're cooking. So that goes without saying. Now the first Tanai is that it needs to be yad soledidbo, which means that the food still needs to be the temperature at which the hand recoils. There's a tremendous machloket about what yad soledidbo is. For this matter, it's appropriate to be machmir, to consider yad soledidbo about 42 degrees Celsius, which means about 105 Fahrenheit, give or take. It has to be that temperature to put it back. Now, this only applies, although there's a tremendous machloket between the poskim Ashkenazim and Sfaradim, and even among the poskim Sfaradim, many don't agree with this. Maran Zechron Bracha rules in Yechavedat Chelek Bet, Siman Mem, he says meforash, that this only applies by a liquid food. A liquid food that you take off the water, off the fire, or off the plata, whatever it is. Now, obviously it has to be garuf katum, so you can't put it back on an open flame. Let's say we're talking about a plata. If, let's say, it's a liquid food, like a soup, like a watery food, whatever it is, over there, yes, the food still needs to be yad soledidbo. It cannot dip below. Over here, it has to be still very hot. Not 105. It has to be much hotter. We go the chumrah. Over here, it has to be about 175. Mechila, I take that back. We go ben chumrah, ben kula. Over here, we say that it has to be still very, very hot, piping hot, so that when you want to put it back, the food, or the liquid, actually, the soup is still very hot, then you can put it back. Ashkenazim are more mekel on this idea, on this specific detail. Ashkenazim say l'da'at Rama, it doesn't need to be yad soledidbo, it doesn't need to be so hot, as long as it's still a little bit warm. As long as it's not completely cold, it's okay to put it back. However, here's the leniency of the Sfaradim according to the Yechavedat. Maran Zechron Bracha says that this applies only by liquid food. By solid food, it doesn't need to be yad soledidbo. As we know, the prevalent halacha for Sfaradim today is that if it's a completely solid food, rice, chicken, whatever, something that doesn't have, or something that is a majority solid, something that only has a little bit of liquid in it, the minhag of the Sfaradim today is that you can take it out directly out of the fridge and put it onto the plata on Shabbat, even though it's certainly not yet soledidbo when you're taking it out of the fridge. And guess what? The fridge is also like putting it on the floor. Maran Zechron Bracha says these conditions apply only to a liquid food, only to a soup, only to something with a significant amount of liquid. The Ashkenazim, not a chance. You'll never see an Ashkenazi ever taking a thing of rice or chicken or whatever it is, even something dry, and putting it directly onto the plata or onto the blech on Shabbat. That's because they follow the Biur Halacha. The Bishmei Torah holds like the Pri Megadim, who says it's asur. But according to the Sfaradim, zemutar. Each one of us, Sfaradim and Ashkenazim, we each have chumrot and kulot with regards to these halachot, leniencies and stringencies. But with regards to this specific thing of yad soledidbo, let it be known that according to the Sfaradim, at least according to the opinion of the Chavedat, this only applies to liquid foods and not to solid foods. Be'ezrat Hashem, in the coming days, we'll speak about other of the conditions of chazara, putting back the food on the flame on Shabbat.